What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Detox Proxy. As you can see, I've got the Forester loaded up, and I've spent at least an hour after work getting the Forester packed up, even though I spent half an hour last night. And I think I've got everything. I probably have too much of one and not enough of the other, but I better get on the highway because it's already 3 o'clock. So I have made it to Terrace. It's taken me a good hour and 45 minutes to get where I am. I ended up stopping, getting some food, and stopping for gas as well. I'm on the fire service road that I took doing Salmon Run and looking for Telka Pass. We're gonna head up Trapper Mountain today, so that's where I'm headed next. All right, so it's a lot busier in here this weekend than it was the last time I was through. I just had a Tacoma pass by and 4 side-by-sides, and then on my way in, I passed a Land Cruiser with 2 women in it, and they actually just passed me because I've stopped here at the entrance to Trapper Mountain, and they ended up going up the trail. So I know at least the 2 of them are up there, and maybe there is going to be more people up there. They didn't look like they were packed for camping, and I don't really expect people to be up there camping, but you never know. I'm just going to have to go up there and see. So I've made it all the way to the top of Trapper Mountain, and I think I'm pretty lucky to be here right now. The drive up is a little bit rough. I don't think anyone can really sit over here because it's just this kind of little island. I'll show you another point, but this is the view that I have. And this is all on top of the mountain. If you probably saw on the way up in that time lapse, I mean, you probably got glimpses of the mountains off in the pass, but as we go back over to wherever that generator thing is that I first pulled in on, the view from there is pretty amazing. We'll see it tomorrow for sure. So I'm just going to take a couple more minutes and get set up a little bit. The flies are pretty bad. I need to get more bug spray on already, I think. Just kind of have a little walk around here to check things out, but I'm sure glad I came up here. So as far as I can tell, it's just maybe me and possibly a red Tacoma that I haven't seen pull out, because I saw this red Tacoma come in and I had a rooftop tent. They went over that way, so I would assume they found another spot over there because I was already kind of set up here. And everyone else that I saw pull in has pulled back out. Some people actually got out and they were up at the road here, but they had like the mosquito jackets on, like complete hoods and jackets. I've been putting up with the bugs. I'm ready to put some more bug spray on again. The sun's gonna go down in like another 15-20 minutes. It's just about to go down over the edge of the hill there, and it's gonna get dark out here pretty quick. I've checked the water, it's actually pretty warm. I may actually take a dip tomorrow. So here's the cabin that's up here, and I guess it's more for snowmobilers, but I did check it and it is open. And cabin rules: warm up and emergency use, no overnighting, respect wood supply, leave no garbage. And it smells like a cabin, let me tell you. There's actually some chairs in here, more than enough wood to burn, an actual stove, some dishes you can actually use, some survival ramen. But yeah, pretty cool little spot. I mean, especially if you're coming up here on a snowmobile in the wintertime. And this sign was actually on the trail in, just kind of shows there is a couple avalanche points along here. Video I actually watched of some people coming up. I think they got stopped up here with some snow on the road. And to be honest, just something I've really noticed just kind of walking around here and filming and talking to the camera at the same time a little bit is I'm running out of breath. And I guess it's just because I live down at sea level and here I am at the top of a mountain. I'm not sure how many meters up this is. I should check on the GPS, I'll let you know. Okay, so it's 1,400 meters. It's high, but it's not too crazy high, you know what I mean? Well, apparently this little island that I'm on is where most of the flies seem to be. I mean, there's just swarms of them everywhere. I've doused myself in bug spray, and fortunately all these small little ones are not biters, but just kind of gives you the indication of how much is swarming around here. And I've kind of pulled down what was left of this fire pit over back down to here where there was like half a fire pit. So I got all the charred pieces in there and got a bunch of this stuff that I think should be dry enough to get it to take off. Brought a little bit of my own wood, but there is pallets over here and they'll burn up really fast. I'll probably stick, I don't know, at least a few pieces of that 2x4 in. Just swarms and swarms of bugs everywhere. Sun is just beating into the forester this morning. I ended up putting up this shade before I went to sleep, but about half an hour ago I put this one up because the sun was just pumping in here, and I mean, it's 6:30 in the morning and I'm wide awake now. I'm not gonna end up falling back asleep. I left the hatch door open last night. I thought my feet were gonna get cold because it did cool right off. I mean, it got pretty cold last night. I think all I'm going to do right now is get up, take a leak, and open up this awning so I can just kind of lay here and watch the sunrise on this lake. Well, I suppose you're allowed to be a little bit jealous because I would be jealous. That lake is so calm right now. The amount of sunlight coming in here is so much because the sun is directly reflecting off the lake right now, giving us two suns. Well, waking up on top of a mountain next to a lake is a first for me. This is something I could certainly get used to. I'm gonna lay here for another like 15-20 minutes, start thinking about making some breakfast. Well, I think before I start breakfast this morning, I'm gonna head for a little walk and probably head to this radio tower or whatever it is. I'm not even sure what it is. It's It's definitely not a cellular tower because there's absolutely no bars up here. I assumed being this high I would have some reception, but I don't. So I'm just gonna walk up the road, try and get this done before too many side-by-sides make their way up here. And those side-by-sides last night, they stayed till almost midnight or so. They weren't being loud or anything or racing around. They were just down here at the tower, and then they ended up going back to the cabin, staying there for about 20 minutes or so. And I just sat around the fire. They didn't come down to see me at all. And have a look from up here, that little island that I'm just poking out of there. But it was starting to get late enough that the stars were really coming out, and I counted 4 shooting stars and a 5th one that was actually a meteor. And as I saw it, I guess it broke the atmosphere and lit up, and it lit up so bright that you could see like a tail of smoke coming off of it, and then it just kind of vanished. But it was like a second later and all you hear was like poof. Just seeing it and then hearing it, completely unreal. Never seen anything like that before. And all the people that were down at the cabin, they all saw it and they all, wow, you know, they all couldn't believe it either. So something I wish I caught on camera, but those type of things you just have to have camera roll going all the time. You can see here on the other side of the road there's another small lake or pond, but I don't think there's any access to this one. Actually, there's a few little bodies of water up here, but most of them are quite down low off the road. The road is like the highest point coming up through here. So I really have no idea what this thing is doing exactly, but I feel like it's relaying radio, and there's obviously a diesel generator in there somewhere, and they must be carting fuel all the way up here for it. There is snow up here as well. And got some signs on the door: your presence reported by electronic detectors. Well, there's people up here all the time, I'm sure. Like, who are they reporting that to? And what are they gonna do about it? Race up here? And I guess this is where the tanks are, or the tank. No, it looks like 2 tanks, I guess. But look at the view from here. I took a little bit of this yesterday with my phone, but what an amazing view from up here. Definitely worth my time coming out here this weekend. I mean, there is more than enough places to pitch a tent and do some tent camping. And you can see even down here where the snow is, some side-by-side or 4-wheeler tracks have made their way through there. So I mean, even if you have a machine, there's likely some other places you can certainly get to and set up. The sun's already starting to really pound down, and they say it's going to be warmer than the last time I was out this way. Probably the temperature's up at like 30 degrees Celsius, 31, 32, something like that. And I did also find the red Tacoma. They're actually parked just beyond this little rock here. As we turn around the bottom, I'll be able to show you where they are. I think I stole their spot. Kind of going up this way. See if there's anything cool or worthy looking at. The landscape's really cool. I mean, it's just low vegetation. Huh. Not much up here except more mountains. You can see the cabin way down there, so I've walked pretty far, at least a kilometer and a half or so. And I tell you, I really do notice this elevation taking my breath away. It just walking and talking, and I'm constantly drawing in a large breath so I can keep on going. Worked up a bit of a hunger, and I think I'll head back and make some breakfast now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this sun and how I'm going to retreat from it midday. I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I'll set up a tarp just so I have some shaded area, because there's not really any trees tall enough where I am. And then you can see right here, I guess it's more of an orange color, but the Tacoma with the rooftop tent. It would be really nice if they could provide a little bit more access to some of these spots, because not much is accessible. There's a lot of drop-offs and whatnot, but I'm sure if they just built a little bit of a road, laid down some rock and opened it up, people could get to other spots around here. I'm just boiling up some water for coffee, and then I'm gonna have some ham and eggs. That'll do the trick for me. The wind picked up a little bit, so the bugs are not as bad as they were, and it actually got this one little log started to kickstart again, and it's starting to smolder. I might even put some wood in there and just get a little fire going. I am gonna try and go for a swim here in a little bit as it gets a little bit hotter. Make sure that water's nice and charged from the sun. Just seeing how clear some of this water is. Like getting past this little drop off right here, probably goes down to like 5, maybe 6 feet right there. And you can almost see right to the bottom. And then just ahead of my stove here is a really nice spot too. Actually, it looks kind of sandy as you get a little further out past the rocks there. And definitely a little deeper. It's just coming up on 12 o'clock. Got this fire smoldering a little bit just to try and get rid of some of these bugs. All the white flies are gone, but the black flies and the horse flies are coming out, and the horse flies are being relentless. Well, look at the forester. I don't know if you could see them, but they're attracted to this shady spot that I created with the tarp, and look, there's like 3 or 4 under there right now. So I've just been using yesterday's t-shirt and I've been swatting at them. I've got like 5 of them so far. These guys are tough, right? You gotta swat them, and then usually they hit the ground and they'll start buzzing around on the ground, and if you don't get them by the 3rd or 4th circle, they end up taking flight again and taking off, and then just coming back and bothering you again. So that's why I've been trying to swat them down and get a good step on them, because they are crazy out here, and I could see that's why I'm the only one out here.
Ooh. It's definitely colder than I thought it was.
So as you saw, I got in the water, but I mean, it was like literally 10 seconds. I was kind of picturing in my mind the nesty plunge. I mean, as soon as I got underwater, I got that real shock of cold. Generally take scalding hot showers, so I realized that's the reason why I should be taking cold showers, to be able to kind of do this kind of thing. But coming back up out of the water, I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay in it long, and I really wanted to swim, you know, a little distance and then kind of come back, but it just wasn't going to happen, so I jumped out as quick as I could, pretty much. But still really exhilarating. Glad I did it. Glad I jumped in there and at least got that you know, feel of fresh water on my skin, I guess. I don't know how well the camera will pick them up, but the horse flies are just swarming. There's got to be like 12 of them around here right now. This is by far the worst I've ever put up with bugs in my life. And the bug spray really doesn't do a whole lot for them. The smoke, I mean, they seem to like the smoke. It's been wafting underneath here right in front of me, and they just keep on coming. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be a couple hours of this probably, right? Until it starts to cool off a little bit. Oh yeah, land right on my finger. I'm being swarmed, and I found the best technique is the helicopter. It seems to get these guys when they come randomly flying past or trying to swarm, because sometimes it's been like 2 or 3 at a time, and they come in like stereo sound, and then you just got to start swinging this thing around, and eventually you get one. Probably another 2-3 hours and they'll start to let up. These guys are not playing around. He's literally trying to get back up and continue. Well, it's just coming up on 9 o'clock, and I am exhausted. I have spent most of my day beating away horseflies. Yeah, it just seems like I went through like a documentary on horseflies and learned all about them today. Their behavior and how they can pack in swarms of like 30 and relentless and won't leave you alone for 8 hours, that sort of thing. But I got through it. Finally, as soon as that sun goes down over the horizon, they literally come down to like the number of 1 or 2 at a time. Right now I don't even see any, which is kind of a blessing at this point. I must have killed like close to 30 of them today. I just kept on killing them. Every time I would be able to, I got this technique right down. Like I would hear one buzzing in the air and I'd swing my t-shirt like this and bang, he'd be down on the ground. I'd step on it. But the thing is like, there seems to be 2 different types of horsefly, or maybe one's a deer fly and one's a horsefly. I don't know, I'm gonna have to kind of look them up. But one is all black and very indestructible. They will go through the fire, they will sit on the rocks of the fire, they will sit on the wood of the fire. You got to step on them 3 times, and even after that they still twitch wings and legs. It's crazy. These things are crazy. And then the other ones are like more of a, they almost look like a hornet, or like a dull colored hornet, and their eyes are just like flat lines, like yellow and black lines, which I think those could be the deer flies. They seem to be very aggressive when they come around. They're not as common as the black ones, but both of them together, I mean, they just would not give up all day long. I did actually finish eating my hot dogs even though I was being swarmed with flies. And 2 more jeeps came kind of up the trail and went down to the tower, and then just pretty much left right afterwards. They didn't stay any time at all. And I got my fire going, so I've got a little time lapse of that started, and it's been going for a while. I just kind of get the sunset falling on that hill in the background and see what that looks like. I was just remembering like that meteorite that came in last night. I mean, that was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen and heard. And the only, like, I actually realized the only reason you could see this tail of smoke on it is because the thing was a fireball in the air, right? And I would really like to stay up late enough tonight to see the stars, but I just don't think I'm gonna last tonight, and I would like to get an earlier start in the morning. So kind of see what happens. Well, now that it's dark out, the temperature has really dropped considerably. I've pulled my chair right up to the fire to stay warm. I know it didn't hit anywhere close to 30 here today, and that's basically because I'm on top of a mountain. Probably down on the Skeena River, probably hit that type of temperature. I would say here it got up to like 24, 25. When I actually checked on the dash of the Forester, it was 22. You know, I mean, it was a warm day, but it wasn't too hot. I didn't sweat at all. And then when I took the dip in the water, I mean, that really froze me. My feet were like frozen for like 5 minutes after that. Got this fire going really good, and I'm just gonna kind of sit out here for a little while longer. It's getting close to 11 o'clock now. I don't think I'm gonna wait for the stars to come out, because I mean, it's just on the horizon. I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but you can just see how much light. Yeah, let's see, you can see how much light is still up in the sky, and the stars won't end up coming out for probably another good hour or so, when they really start to fill up anyway. And I don't think I can last that long. Well, good morning. It is just after 7 o'clock. Slept in a little bit more than I normally do. I was to bed at like 11. So it's a full night's sleep. It was definitely colder last night. I was thinking of actually closing the
the hatch, but I didn't. And now that the sun's come out, it's already starting to warm up in here. I do want to get a pretty early start. I want to start making breakfast before these horseflies come out. Finish up this video and head out of here.
Yeah, so it's a little bit buggy out here this morning, and I just decided to turn over that little block that was in the fire and then just stick that little piece on top and get it start smoldering. Try and take care of some of these bugs. It seems to have cleared out my food preparation area. I'm just getting some coffee going. Gonna do that ham and eggs the same as I did yesterday, and then start packing up and try and get out of here. Well, that's it. That's all. I've got everything put away. I've got the fire doused. And I'd really like to recommend this spot because it is such a cool spot. But the bugs are insane. You'd really have to pick your time of year on when you came here. And I mean, they seem to work on like a day shift, night shift. So it's just horseflies all day long, and they will infest your campsite. And then moving into the evening and mornings, it's all mosquitoes and whiteflies. And they just love to bite and get into your eyes. And I've taken much worse bites than I thought I did. I got a couple on the hand and knuckles, and a couple on the elbow that I've been scratching at. But was it worth it? Well, I mean, I did get to stay here with no one else really here, and then catching that meteorite. I mean, that almost made this little trip worth it. So if you like this type of video, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Over the side, and it'll go up. Fuck. Fucking dead bat. Bro. You're gonna give me a heart attack. And look at this horsefly. Almost got him. You want to catch horsefly? Fuck, there's like 5 up there. Not for very long. These fucking flies won't fuck off. Okay, too many fucking things in my hands. Holy fuck.